What did you think about how AD looked and also Rui's debut?
I thought it was a fantastic night for the Lakers. Really, it was the time where they can put their foot forward and say that this is going to be our march towards the playoffs. And no matter what happens in the next 2 weeks leading up to the trade deadline, and they could very well make some more moves, and we'll talk about that later. But no matter what happens, if they get help on their side, they can make some noise. And Anthony Davis didn't look like the MVP Anthony Davis that he was for about a month this season, but he certainly looked like a guy who shook off the rust rather quickly. In the first quarter, he was fouled, went to the foul line, threw up a brick off the side of the backboard. That, like, he's actually, like, that's one of the best facets of his game, is for being a big man. He's got a beautiful touch for a free throw line. That showed me that he was just, kind of shaky, Bambi leg, getting everything back underneath him. But once he got rolling in the second quarter, he was impacting the game on both ends. He ends up with 12 rebounds, 4 blocks, 21 points. But the moment that was most significant, I think, for everyone who got to see it live was end of the third quarter. Some guys in the league won't even take a shot at the end of a quarter now because from half court, because they want to protect their percentages. I respect any guy who does. You're playing a kid's game. Get over yourself. You can potentially add a cool highlight to your highlight reel, or 3 points to your team's total. Take the damn shot. And so Anthony Davis does. And of course, it didn't go according to plan. Zach Collins of the Spurs, who's actually had a couple run-ins now with the Lakers. He was the guy who got Russell Westbrook's face bleeding earlier in the year in a game in San Antonio. Russell Westbrook had some retaliation throwing him to the floor earlier in the game. But Collins was in Anthony Davis's landing area, and Davis, trying to avoid that, came down on his right foot, turns the right ankle, the same right foot that he'd been dealing with the fractured bone spur and stress reaction the last 5.5 weeks. And Crypto.com Arena, instead of Staples, Crypto.com Arena went dead silent. Like, everyone was like, oh no. And you saw the Lakers go from the bench, kind of walking over, like tiptoeing, like, no, like, this can't be happening. Darvin Ham told me he almost fainted. But sure enough, while the referees went to review the play to make sure it was a flagrant, AD got up, dusted himself off, went to the free throw line, made all 3 free throws. And he told me afterwards, when I asked him about it, that his foot feels good, his body feels good, his spirit feels good. And I walked out with him towards his car last night, and he was in such great spirits. And it's really good to see, because he's been through so many injuries these last couple of years. I believe that the mental hurdle, he's already past that. And sometimes guys come back from injury and they're still working through it. Mm-hmm. I think the Lakers' methodical approach to having him return to the lineup was really smart, because it allowed him time to work through that in practices and games. And he's still got his win back. He's got to, in scrimmage games, I should say, he's still got to get his win back. He's still got to get timing and all that stuff back. But he's not afraid to be out on the floor. He's not afraid to plant. He's not afraid to jump. He's not afraid to cut. And if Anthony Davis looks reminiscent of the guy they got for a month and a half this year, they're going to make some noise.
Yeah, I mean, look, that people don't understand. The one thing that athletes hate is being injured all the time. Yeah, it sounds like obvious, but no, it actually affects their mood all the time, of how they are, how they play, whether or not they're aggressive, all of those things. It can really impact a guy for a long time, even right down to how he interacts with the media. He could literally be miserable all the time. So to see that Anthony Davis is like in a good frame of mind, he's feeling good, and it's showing in his game, that should only get better. And that's good, because you don't want to see a timid Anthony Davis either. I mean, the way he was playing before he got hurt was just at an all-time elite level.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.